You are now with DemiGod.
Oh,
But yeah, you gotta go to Richfield Park or see Caucus. Those two top.
I didn't book the tickets, man.
It's
Now
all
you're making
good.
me sit.
Nah,
It's all
it's because
Shit.
if I go to certain theaters and like if I don't have the leg room, bro, my knees be locking
But
up.
y'all
after
all like,
watching that shit.
y'all all like.
I'm like 6 feet, right?
I'm like 6'10",
You
yo.
see, I'm 5'9". You feel me? So I don't really got.
Yo, I'm
Like if I
This
go
dude
to
thinks he's
if I go to the
6'8",
nah if I
bro.
go to
I
the
don't
theater
wanna hear it,
at
bro.
Garden State Mall, bro, my knees are on the back of the chair.
Yo, Chris, when I was the AAU coach, right? I had two players. One was legit 6'7", and the other one was 6'9".
Yeah.
One African and one Italian dude. And they would both get in the back of my Jeep, and I drive with my chair all the way back. And I'd be like, "You got room?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good." Bro, I could be hugging my steering wheel like this, and Elmer get back there. Yo, I'm mad uncomfortable. My knees. I'm like, a 7-footer was just back there, didn't say nothing.
Yo, a 7'12" 12-year-old, they hella nimble.
Amber might
I'm
have
stiff as shit. I need some. Yo, I'm gonna catch a cramp back there.
You said he was from where? Italy?
Yeah.
They got tiny ass cars over there, bro. They used to that shit.
You stacking up in there.
Driving the Fiats around.
nigga fresh out of Fiat.
That's true.
That's
true.
funny as hell.
Even their biggest car is little as hell, bro. I'm just like,
Nah, but the moment Amber hit 6 foot, bro, you couldn't tell a nigga nothing. he couldn't ride in back seats no more. Pegs wasn't for him. It was just like,
I ain't fit.
well, let me.
I'm just saying.
We're talking about pegs on a bike. We gotta be specific in these.
Yeah, word.
with these
word,
communities
word,
out there
word.
today.
So what's
And
the,
then my follow up comment.
Facts. Nah, we about to get your photography popping.
Chill, not like that.
Nah, but yeah, back to this movie, right? Marvel, they've been doing a good job. They got the series on Disney Plus. I'm gonna be crying this whole episode. Let's pick the terrible episode not to wear shades. But
I have shades. You want? I got a couple pairs too because I wanted to wear them, but I was like, Asante wears shades, and this is not my show, so I ain't gonna wear shades. So
I mean, nah, I already started it.
That's crazy. You
Sorry.
posted your own show without shades on.
Sorry. The people know why I wear shades, man. Future bright. You feel me?
Continue with your critic.
All right, yeah. So they've been doing a good job with the series and all the movies that came out, like Far From Home and No Way Home and all that stuff. And then the Sony / Marvel syndicate, to me, it's always hit or miss, right? These got a little flair to it. It's always hit or miss with those, right? Because like to me, I didn't like Venom.
What's this Sony? What do you mean the Sony?
So
Marvel?
this properties that Sony owns, which was Venom, Spider-Man.
Marvel don't own their masters.
Nah, it's
That's crazy. They signed a 360 deal.
yeah. It's weird because Spider-Man is the only movie that Sony and Marvel like they co-produce, and like all the separate syndicates like they produce it with the Marvel tag, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Venom, like the older Spider-Mans, was all Sony.
Yeah.
This Morbius movie now, and there's like 2 other ones or whatever. And I feel like whenever they do movies, they just don't do it as good as like a regular Marvel movie.
Wait, so Spider-Man he's leaving Marvel now, right? What everybody forget who he is. That's supposed to be him going full Sony.
Nah, because they're trying to reboot Andrew Garfield's universe, which is like the Amazing Spider-Man. So
Who's gonna be?
I mean, it's 2 different. It's now with the multiverse, what they're doing is it could be a bunch of fucking.
Well,
universes.
Garfield's Spider-Man was trash. I'm not gonna hold you.
Whoa, you just said something about Garfield was trash.
No, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies, they were garbage.
You thought
You
so?
think so?
Yeah, big garbage.
I just don't. I don't like the way they casted Jamie Foxx as Electro, but
yeah,
yeah, like
he's a great actor, but that's my least preferred role for him.
But why do you like more? We're getting off track. Why do you like
Morbius is bro. I felt like it was just like the least necessary Marvel movie ever. The shit was. Jace left for like 20 minutes to get popcorn and came back, and it was like 5 minutes left in the movie. The shit felt mad short. The storyline was like mad weak. The CGI in it was pretty cool. Himself as a vampire, that shit looked like type scary. And like there was like 1 or 2 fight scenes that was pretty dope because they kept changing between the point of view of like the people getting attacked and like him attacking them. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, it was just that shit was just mad unnecessary, bro. And then
who was his villain?
Now, the fucking.
But wait, don't you have to yell spoiler alert or not?
We don't
Nah, I didn't say anything about the plot or anything just now.
ruin the movie.
He
Who's the villain?
just asked who's the villain.
All right, so I guess the spoiler alert would come here.
Spoiler alert.
Ruin the movie. They
Soil it.
soil it.
So in like the Marvel universe, I feel like when they first began, they tended to have this like common trope of like every villain would just have the same exact like powers as the hero. So in Iron Man, you get like I forget his name. It's Jeff Bridges' character, bald head dude, just makes a bigger version of the Iron Man suit. And then the second one's a little different. Third
Mickey
one,
Rourke.
same thing.
Yeah.
You know, like Captain America, essentially like Red Skull, same shit. He's just like it's like superhuman, except he looks crazy. He's it's like a common trope, and they did the same thing. And I was like, come on, bro, like you guys just
Abomination and Hulk.
you guys just pull off of like
He was
Endgame and all that. No Way Home.
He was fighting
And
another vampire.
Yeah, literally like yeah. All right, it was like I could spoil it for you guys. All right. Yeah, no, it was literally like his best friend. Like immediately, they immediately turned against each other, and he like takes the serum too, and then they become enemies, like immediately.
Was it like a Cain and Abel kind of story?
Nah, bro. It was like it was like they didn't even put like anything in between. I guess
It just seemed like he was all mad at him, like
That he-
only I can be the only vampire. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like it was altruistic. It just seemed like he was like
So his best friend turned to a vampire. And he just wasn't
like they were both severely sick, and they take the serum in order to feel better. They've been sick their whole lives, trying to like discover this.
Yeah.
He's a super smart guy, trying to like discover this cure.
Yeah.
And yeah, then he gets it. It's a curse. So then he's like, you can't have it, but then he just takes it anyways, and then he becomes one, and then they just spend the rest of the movie fighting each other.
literally the same
And
thing
then-
between Hulk and Abomination.
And also, I feel like
What
I was
those gamma powers?
I was
Don't get
very
'em.
let down that I felt like they were gonna be opening up the universe for like Blade, right? Because you're going to it's a Marvel movie about vampires. You're like,
Word.
all right, Blade's gonna like
Word.
there's gonna be something about Blade here. Nothing. They didn't even touch on it, and I was like, come on, bro. Like,
Was him and Blade intertwined?
Yeah, they're supposed to be
Blade
making
is
a
a
Blade.
vampire
Blade's
hunter.
Like that's the only
and
reason I
Blade's
felt it
under
was
Marvel.
worth it going there. I was like, all right, cool. This is gonna set up the Blade universe. I don't fucking like Jared Leto.
I was like,
think
Jace
he's-
hates him too.
He's a terrible actor. The
He said
acting
he's
was
For real?
He said he's in a cult.
He's had a couple like good movies. Yeah, he is. He legit has this like cult. He's like in a band and gets like all his like fans to go out to like Joshua Tree for like a week, and he wears like all white. They wear all white. Thinks he's like, I don't know. He's got the long hair. It's weird. He on the set of Suicide Squad, the first one, it was like a thing. He like sent the other people like condoms, like opened condoms, quote unquote used condoms, and he was like, oh, you know, just doing these like corny antics to like get views for the movie, so that way they have something to talk about on like talk shows. He's whacked, man.
I don't know.
So I went into a little bit of that. I recognize that. So that's probably why I also don't like it. But yeah, I just don't like it. Not a good movie.
That shit was
No, I
trash.
definitely
You
am.
should. You got
I'm just saying, if you put on like a full suit and slick your hair back, you would kind of look like him a little bit.
You're gonna make Jace cut his hair.
I do kind of have that look right now. Yeah.
Nah,
Same
you
shit.
you don't have the eyes that don't
I'm a
fucking
skip.
blink.
I'm gonna skip it.
Oh, you're not gonna watch it?
I'm gonna skip it.
Skip
No,
it.
I'm gonna skip it.
Yo, skip it. I support that decision.
I'm gonna watch Doctor.
Yo,
Strange,
don't give
though.
them your money, is what I say. Don't give them your money.
Yeah.
Yo,
We
$5 Tuesdays.
found us a loophole.
We didn't.
Find out how on Patreon. But welcome back to another episode of the DemiGod Chronicles. It's your boy Asante Diet, aka DemiGod. We're back here on another recording day. Well, it's not beautiful outside, but you know,
Yes,
we
it
here.
is. What the hell?
We here. What you mean?
It's a beautiful day.
We here, so it's beautiful. You know. Here are my co-hosts, my peoples, and some familiar and unfamiliar faces.
Imani, are you gonna keep the mic that far the whole time?
Oh, is it too far?
Yeah, you got
It's making me nervous a little bit.
It's making me
you got to put on the lip.
Just drop your
Yeah,
lip on
just-
top of it.
Nah, I'm good.
put like
All the way good.
Yo,
I thought I was supposed to have it at a distance. See, when I play Call of Duty, I get yelled at. They say the mic is too close. So.
down one down. That's because I be fucking yelling like I have no
Word.
sense.
I guess.
nah.
the-
If you put on headphones, you amplify your voice. You don't even know it. Screaming.
Yeah. But welcome back to another episode of DemiGod Chronicles. It's a family episode.
Yes,
I got
sir.
some interesting things to ask the father over here about some things that I read, so it's gonna be a good episode.
Get it?
You introduce
I gotta
yourself?
introduce myself?
you
Oh, my
Oh,
fault.
all right.
Are
I
you gonna
guess
give
I'll
your own
introduce it.
introduction?
So these two sack of potatoes next to me. These
What,
are
chopped liver.
these are my older brothers. We got Al&Mani, who's returning. He was in our first episode at the top of the year, and we got my oldest brother, Almar here, aka Almar Dyer Photography. Shameless plug. And a member of the Putting Up Points podcast.
Yes, sir.
Here to represent
Pup.
another syndicate, Master Studios. We out here representing shit like that. Well, yeah. Introduce you guys selves.
Well, I go by LD. For those that you don't know,
Like Aldi's what?
no, like LD, like
nuts.
Al. Instead of Almar, just Al for short, and then instead of Dyer, it's just D. LD. So yeah, I go by LD. It's my first time on a podcast here. I appreciate y'all having me.
De nada, me.
You already know. I mean, this is a little different format for me. I'm used to the Putting Up Points format where it's more like sports orientated. So I'm very curious to see what we're going to talk about today.
We have one goal here, one house rule is just try to get yourself canceled as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Whatever opinion you have that you know,
That's what that C on his hat stands for.
whatever opinion you have that no one else is gonna like, just share it.
I got you, but as long as y'all cut it out for me afterwards.
My bad.
So I appreciate you.
He eats glizzies on the regular.
We don't. We don't.
Who doesn't? If y'all don't eat grilled glizzies during the summertime, y'all liars.
Nah, people gonna stop
I don't
pretending
eat
like
hot
they don't like hot dogs, bro.
I actually don't eat hot
you
you're
I don't
vegan.
know. Yeah, so
I'm kind of
That's
I'm
the
kind of
only-
stop eating processed.
hold
meat
on.
dogs. That's my man right there.
He jacking vegan, but
I
when
don't
pops
jack vegan. I don't jack
when pops pull out the jerk chicken on the grill,
I
what's
don't jack
the
vegan.
vibe?
He
Listen,
says he
I give
stands
a
by
fuck.
special occasions. though.
I eat plant-based foods, but on holidays and some occasions I eat meat. I say that. I say it all the
See,
time.
I say I had the holidays for the things with the feet,
What?
things that walk around.
I'll dib a dab with the feet.
The things with the feet. And to the left of me, we got
No, I'm Al&Mani. I got nothing to promote. I'm just his older brother, and I appreciate coming back. I enjoyed the first time. It was a nice time being on a podcast. It's my second time, so.
And he made a
See?
great point about processed meats. You guys need to stay away. You guys need to
Facts.
stay away from
Facts.
processed meat.
All processed
That's,
food.
if you don't know what that is,
little
that's
breakfast
bacon.
patties. Nah,
bacon,
they
little
smashing,
breakfast,
they
yeah.
smashing meat together and putting it in some type of form.
You don't know what part of the animal.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's a
How it was
category
preserved to
3.
get there.
What was it? A category 3
Carcinogen.
carcinogen. Category 3 carcinogen. Processed meat.
For those who don't know what a carcinogen is, it's a cancer-causing thing.
You know what I'm saying? So
drop a little knowledge out here. You feel
stay
me?
away from it, bro. I don't care if you want to eat some grilled chicken on the grill. Nothing. Take the skin off. You know,
Yeah, skin. I hate when people leave skin on chicken, bro. I don't know if it's because of how dad was growing
it's
up.
just
and
because
he-
of how daddy.
It
Bro,
just
that shit's-
looked different.
But
It,
you
shit
never-
like, it looked like my
Unless it's
knuckles.
fried
But
chicken.
fried chicken. I was gonna say fried chicken with the skin on it be busting.
If you try
Nah,
fried
you-
No, but
Chicken
I'm
with
not
skin off.
fried chicken and then you
Yo,
see
man,
the little
unless
hairs
unless
on
you
it.
make your own batter.
yeah.
Nah, fried chicken with the little hairs on it, that shit
Dirt.
That shit grossed me out.
Nah.
But you know who?
but then your
Some
pop
of
say if
some
you
of them
put
Chinese
the,
food places do be.
I
smacking
didn't
on
want
that.
to say it, but
I mean, it's a Chinese food restaurant. Like that's what it is.
that's mainly where I get it. If you order from a Chinese restaurant,
with fried chicken.
yeah, you
Oh,
get
I
the
heard
wings with the
I
hairs
heard
on it.
Korean fried chicken
It's the best fried
is the
chicken.
best fried chicken on the
we should
streets.
maybe do Korean.
Yeah.
Never had
Let's
it.
do Korean on Tuesday.
I
What
heard-
you doing on Tuesday? Let's go do
So
Korean.
I get back from the city at like 7:30.
Alright, you can eat.
Oh, he got to come with us to the that spot where
yeah,
we.
that's what I'm talking about too.
Oh, that's Korean.
Yeah, it's Korean barbecue. So
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a spot where
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
They
Korean
had-
barbecue.
that-
and it's
that
kinda
had
like
vegetables and
cook,
shit
You
there,
cook your
yeah.
own stuff there.
Like on
But
a like a skillet.
It was
thing.
like the food is great.
Is it a local
Food is great.
place?
Yeah, it's a local place.
Do you want to
local
give them
place.
a free promotion? It's local.
Nah, I'm not like that.
It's Jersey though. It's local. Jersey.
I guess it's called the Cast Iron Pot. They have a couple different locations. They seem to be doing pretty well. I think they got a spot in Fairfield, and then if you walk like 2 blocks down, they got another spot right next to it because the first spot was too busy. I ain't never heard of no shit like
Fairview.
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, it's Fairview.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty good spot. One of my
We are accepting all advertisement fees. If you guys would like to pay some, please send that to at DGC.
Master Studios.
Masterstudio.com, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Konnichiwa. Damn, that's
It's
might have
actually
been a little racist.
it's kamsahamnida.
What?
It's thank you in Korean.
Kamisanida? This is interesting.
Kamsahamnida.
Does South Korea and North Korea speak the same language?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not educated enough to actually answer.
Jace?
Okay.
That's gonna be your next language you learn.
They're actually
No.
not allowed to speak in North Korea at all.
What language do you
So-
speak? Nothing.
So what do you want? You want to start with that bill?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
so-
you gotta put me on because I saw
Okay.
you added to the news.
All right. So I was reading this article. It came across my way, and the article said, and I quote, not once started loading. It said, scroll back down.
Wi-Fi ain't here, huh?
Facts, we in your crib, boy.
Pieces ain't
Oh,
here.
it said not just Florida, more than a dozen states propose so-called "Don't Say Gay" bills.
Don't say what?
Don't say gay bills.
What do you
So,
mean?
so what you
I don't
can't
get
say
it.
like.
So that's
word?
what the article said. It said that Florida and other states are passing so-called "Don't Say Gay" bill. Like that's what they're terming the bills,
Okay.
like the nickname for the bills. So I'm shocked by that. I'm appalled. So I go to like read the article, read into it. I'm like, okay, the title was a little misleading. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think the title was misleading. I think it did exactly what it wanted to do.
it did exactly what it wanted
It
to
was
do.
like,
in.
I'm either
Clickbait.
catch you off guard or do something
So-
to get you in.
But what's actually going on though is actually worth conversation. But I don't get why. First off, I don't get why people do why do they do that?
It's, a
It's
ploy.
clickbait.
But still, like you got to do better than that. Like
Nah, but
journalists-
there's so much information on the internet that's positive that people won't click on
Yeah.
because it's not that interesting for them. So they have to do something that's gonna draw some type of factor, shock, whether it's wow, interest, or like disgust.
so
And the
the
biggest way now is clickbait.
so the original law that Florida passed it was called the Parental Rights and Education Bill. It was as barring public school teachers from holding classroom instruction about sexual orientation or gender identity. So you can't. It's preventing like early teaching to kids of like sexual identity.
I think I agree with that.
But teachers are deeming it as based on it's transphobic and homophobic. That's why they think that these laws are being passed.
I don't. I
Like
mean,
teachers think it's negative.
So
Teachers think it's negative?
teachers. So one teacher was saying that. So imagine they're drawing their families, right? And someone draws their family with two dads, or someone draws their family with two moms, and what the conversation comes up like, why'd you draw two dads on this piece of paper? And kids start making fun of the kid. It's like, are you legally allowed to step up and explain to these kids like, hey, wait a minute, it's just that.
I think there's a level of explanation, but there's also a level of like I think there's people. So I work in a school system, so I'm not trying to speak for teachers, but I've seen firsthand how like some teachers can like literally be like mom. And I remember as a kid like definitely fucking up and accidentally calling my teacher like mom in class before. Like
Yeah.
it just accidentally came out like that. So I know some teachers have certain connections where they really treat the kids like mom. And with that being said, they can step over certain boundaries. So I think something in an incident like that where you might just be able to say like, well, such and such has two dads or such and such has two moms. And if the kid says why, he'd be like, well, you can ask your parents about that. But like you have to be able to cut that conversation
It's the
off
same thing.
somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Like, if a kid would like, if you were gonna tell the way you would explain sex to a 5-year-old is different than how you would explain sex to a 12-year-old compared to an 18-year-old and then a 30-year-old. Like, it's still sex, but you're gonna break it down and explain it differently.
yeah.
Gotta
maybe-
dilute it.
Yeah. So maybe but then when they say, I guess it's so broad where it's like, okay, don't talk about these things at all. Are you leaving room for like a 5-year-old explanation of what's going on in society? Is it like just don't mention it
I mean,
at all?
because
I think as an instructor, you shouldn't. There's a curriculum for a reason, because it's not for you to give necessarily your opinion. It's a structured. There's a generalized structure of what you're supposed to be teaching kids, and where it comes as far as like sexual orientation, religion, those are all opinionated individual things for me personally.
Yeah.
So I think once it comes to a class instruction, I'm not like sending my kid to that school to learn that teacher's views or opinion on how you think you should be
Yeah.
raised. Like I'm sending them to that school because I know this school has this merit or it's this close to my house or whatever the case is. So like, I think there's a separation between that. Now, if you pay for your kid to go to a private school and they're like teaching specifically like, you know, an Orthodox school or something like that, then like you're subject
pay
to
for
whatever
that.
they're going to teach. That's what you're paying for, you know?
So why is it, if anyone knows, why is it being deemed as, why is that being deemed as transphobic and homophobic?
I mean, we live in a more sensitive world now. Because I remember being a kid and being in school, and it was like we couldn't talk about religion in school, right? But like between kids, especially around this time of year, I had Muslim friends in school, and my best friend was Muslim, and they would be fasting during the day. So at lunchtime, if you're not eating anything, that's gonna come up in conversation. Like, why is there a whole group of kids like not eating? And there was maybe have been a teacher to explain to us like, oh, like it's a part of their religion, you know, it's an observation time for them, and you know, it's just a part of their faith.
Yeah.
And that's explaining it on the surface. The teacher didn't break down any wording in the Quran or explain the prophet to us or anything like that, or Mecca. Like none of that stuff was brought in, but you can give a generalization of what's going on without having to get in, because I think as a teacher, obviously, you're there to teach things and give kids outlook on life. But like Al&Mani said, you kind of like, that's why you have to submit lesson plans, because there's a structure you have to stick to, and you're not teaching kids about your personal beliefs. I remember I had a math teacher, and like there was like voting time coming up, and like he was like talking about something, and someone asked him his political views, and he was like, I can't tell you like what party I identify as, because you just can't lead kids, or you can't, a kid might, like Al&Mani said, might look up to you, might be like, all right, maybe I have to do this, but if that's what's best for you, that's what's best for you, and what's best for other people is what's best for other people. So you don't want to send your kid to school and you're a Democrat, and your kid come home like, oh, my teacher told me he's a Republican. I think I should be a Republican because whatever.
Oh my
So
God, parent was losing.
yeah, you know,
Literally.
like it,
Parent
so
was losing.
it's just, I feel like there should be a way, and Amr, you could speak to it as a parent. Like you should be able to have conversations with your children how you see fit, and if things do come up, there's a way to kind of like deflect and be like, you know, ask your parents more information or whatever case.
Or even if the teacher at the end of that just go up to the parents and say like, hey, they brought up this and this.
Let me say some of the stuff like the other states are passing. You guys let me know if this, if you would deem this as like, I guess discriminatory. Alabama. I guess the states are funny too.
You started with that.
Yeah. It's in alphabetical order. Alabama.
That moon landing wasn't real.
They're prohibiting early classroom instruction on sexual and gender identities. Arizona.
What's early?
Exactly. You know, it doesn't
Because
say.
8th grade we take sex ed, and I don't think that's
I've
too-
seen stuff where they've been putting stuff into like kindergarten, first grade.
Oh, no, I got
that's
you.
way too early.
I've seen
Arizona.
a couple things where they've done
Arizona changes the state's sex ed curriculum to focus on biological sex and not gender identities.
I think that's discriminatory. Just
That one
don't
is?
do
Yeah, that
either.
seems like that there's an agenda to that.
Yeah, just don't do either. I feel like anything that's going to be offensive to a group, just don't do it. Like you don't have to teach about it. You can leave that to the
So
parent.
so then in Arizona, then in a situation. Okay, so they said they're only going to teach biological sex. So they're going to teach, I guess, how a baby's made. That's the only way they're going to talk about sex, is how babies are made.
But that's
But even still,
But even that's not the only way babies are made, because you can like have in vitro, and that's not biological. Like, so I just think that's like, why teach about that so young if you don't have to?
It doesn't say what grade. It just says the state sex ed curriculum.
I don't know. You're a parent, so you can give an opinion on it.
I like what Iowa said. This one, Iowa's pretty cool. They said it required parents to opt in writing to any instruction related to gender identity or sex.
I mean,
Yeah, that would make sense.
That
It's
makes
an
sense.
option.
Let
That
the
makes
parents
sense.
decide
Yeah.
if their child gets to learn that or not.
Just like there was, I mean, I used to think that shit was so fucked up, but there was certain kids, I remember it was like, if you had a class party, like a parent could leave a note, like they don't want their kid to participate and shit. So I remember we'd be like doing like a Christmas party, and like we'd have like kids that be like, yeah, their parents don't want them around. Or like one of my boys, his parents didn't fuck with Halloween. So like when we went to go do the parade or whatever, like I'm like, where did they take this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So, but let me play devil's advocate. Would you rather the schools teach them first, or the kid go on the internet and learn?
Neither.
neither.
But how do you stop a kid from learning from the internet?
By not allowing them to go on the internet.
No, I got this. I feel like rather than teach the kids about.
Wait, Jace, can the mic pick you? Come pick you up.
Probably not really.
Yeah, flip it. Let Jace get that mic.
I feel like not everything.
Well, why
has
you
to
got
be taught in
sexier
school,
when you got the
right?
mic?
You tried to get
It's
a
like-
sexy voice for hear that?
It's like rather you could cut a corner by like rather than teaching the kids about the subject, teach them how to research like good information on the
Okay.
internet, right?
Uh-huh.
And then if there's some type of LGBTQ website, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you put some type of like information on that? Like just
Yeah.
teach kids how to research information, and then they seek it out on their own.
Yeah.
If not, they ask. I don't know.
I wonder.
And then, like, if not, you ask your parents. Parents don't want to know, whatever. You don't know for a while, and then eventually you get wise enough to you get an iPhone and you search that shit up yourself. I mean, I guess you could make the debate that not everyone has access to information, but I think that's kind of cat. Huh?
Like the access to the actual internet. Like how
doesn't?
old or how old
some.
are you when you start
Right?
getting access to the internet?
Well, I think some
13?
states are going low.
You got to learn about this shit before you're 13. Like, you got to learn about it.
So look, this is what Tennessee did.
Nah,
So
kids got internet, bro.
Tennessee was very like
do.
selective. Tennessee is HB 800 bans books and instructional materials that promote, normalize, support, or address lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender issues or lifestyles.
You see how long-winded that was? That just shows you that
You're doing way too much.
That sounds wrong.
that shit's
That
mad.
to me, that to me sounds like that one is more like they're not trying to do
Specific.
good. They're trying to like
They're trying,
shut
yeah.
a group out.
Like us, like,
Cause support.
but now you have states that are trying to opt out, or I think they have successfully passed that they're not going to talk about Native Americans in school anymore, and they're not going to talk about the civil rights movement in school anymore because they feel like when they teach it to a predominantly white school district, it just makes all the kids feel bad, right? Or some shit like that. I've read we covered this before on an episode, but you start running the risk of like, all right, like now you're just trying to either add something in that's unnecessary or erase something that it's vital for them to know about, because they're going to try to use the same argument of, oh, well, this shouldn't be talked about in school because, you know, it makes my kid feel this, and I should be able to teach him about the civil rights movement. But what if your perspective as a parent, you teach them that what happened was right, or whatever your perspective is cool for you to have at home, but the facts still need to be learned in school.
Can we just take a pause on that real quick? I just want to have a quick Moo moment. And shout out to my boy Moo. But in terms of history, I'm listening to what you're saying, and as far as like the ability as a society to omit and I guess admit or submit information to be presented as a society to whole, like to learn, that's interesting because like, all right, so say now versus 400 years from now, how much information that's being taught now will be still retaught? It's like there's only but so much information you can teach at a one period, right?
Yeah.
The school year for a kid is but so long, and they have only 12 years if they're going from whatever grade to whatever grade. So how much of that information can be compiled in that time where it's just like people don't matter anymore just because it's like somebody else did something more important, or that's such a negative thing that they're going to take that out and put something else in place. So like history is history itself. What happens, happens. However, what's like the societal perception of history and how much of that is going to be changed in the future to be, well, this is offensive to this type of people, so we're going to take that out.
Yeah.
And this makes this person feel that. So I'm just kind of curious to like future places and how history will be presented and like the right and how accurate it'll actually be to what actually happened.
Yeah, I've seen too is like even on like the flip side of that, like how you're saying that these people don't want these things taught in school. I've seen it being taught, and like even the way Amani's saying like how society views it is that sometimes when these things are taught, they're not taught right either. They're taught in a very radical way. You know what I mean? And at the same time, like say, I remember being on a training for one of my companies I work for, and it was like discrimination, and we had to like it was based on this book like how to be anti-racist, right? And there were some concepts in that book, bro, where I felt like this isn't right. Like this is just, it's going too far. Like it's too much. It's too like it went on the spectrum. It just went way too far. You know what I'm saying? Because like it was saying things like, if you comment on a group's culture and like blame the culture a part of the culture for why they're getting certain results, like that could be deemed as racist. And I was like, I don't know about that one. You know what I mean? That just takes away all personal responsibility. And if you take away a group's personal responsibility, then they never feel like they can change anything. It's just like, oh, everything is this third party's fault, and none of it has anything to do with the way we lived or did anything.
Yeah. I feel like those are things. Is like there's no book on any, like there should be no set guideline on anything. Like there should be no, this is what you do to not be racist. This is what you do to be like.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a sense of like common sense. There should be a sense of morality. There should be a sense of like justification and equality, and like that's where you kind of gauge if something is racist or not. Like if you're teaching someone how not to be racist and they're reading that book to how not, they're probably gonna be racist.
Bro,
like they're gonna say something that's gonna sound like off the wall offensive, and then they're gonna say some comment like, "I'm sorry, I didn't like."
Yeah, and it's an impossible feat, bro. We spoke about this on the podcast. Like, I was listening to a lecture earlier today, bro. It's really impossible what you're telling people to do because humans have this thing where they like to group things, and they take a group, like whatever's in their group, they deem as having great qualities, they deem as the best, and then when they deem you outside of your group, they're more likely to demonize you. Like monkeys do it, chimpanzees do it, and humans do it too. That's why, like, for us, if you see a brother on the street, you automatically like, that's me, like that. I see myself in him. Like I want to help him. Like what you need to compose. If you don't see a brother on the street, it's not that you don't like them. It's just that natural inclination to like, I love you a little bit more. You know what I mean? I can't even explain it, but I just love you a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a herd and likeness mentality.
Yeah, and you're telling a human, because at the end of the day, even though it's a group outside, you're still human. You're telling a human to take that away. Like, let's erase that. That I don't think you can erase.
Yeah.
What you can erase is maybe, what's the proper term? Like, it's not racism. It's like discrimination. Like you could
Prejudice.
work, like prejudice. You could work, and I think I would even say in 2020, what are we, 2022? I mean, as if my neighbor, let's just say my neighbor was right and super racist, and they hated me because I was black. Bro, there's nothing they could do to really impact my life. Like, let's be serious. What can they do? Like what? Like my neighbor hates me. What could she do?
Burn a cross on your lawn?
Take my garbage out. She can't stop me from making money. She can't stop me from feeding my family. She can't stop me from taking care of my family. She can't stop me from doing anything.
The only thing they can do is physically harm you and harass
And
you.
she gonna, and most they gonna get this work, bro. Unless they,
You see that sweater my boy got on?
unless they want to shoot me, that's about it. But like that's not happening in 2022.
Nah, you hear a lot of stuff. A lot of
bro,
cases
you'd be
about
surprised.
that,
I personally don't put, people are crazy and people do unsensible stuff. So,
but I'd say these things. I mean, like I know there's people out there. I mean, just on average,
Yeah.
like the average person, bro. And I think we're in a world now where like, I think the main thing that should be preached now, people get mad at me or not, is like personal responsibility. Like,
is worry about yourself.
Yeah, personal
Just worry.
responsibility.
If you worry about yourself, like you don't. All right, cool. If I'm this person who doesn't like this group, that doesn't don't like that group, then just worry about yourself. Like don't be concerned with what that group is doing. Let them do what they're doing. You still don't like them, cool. But you worrying about yourself, you're not affecting that group, and you're not affecting yourself in a negative way. So you're only doing something good.
You ever heard the saying like, before you criticize the world, make your bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think that's what life really boils down to. Like before you try to, like, we all want to help people. We all want to help those. But if your bed's not made, quote unquote, then you're not helping anybody. Bro. You can't.
Shit is based off of ignorance too, because I remember being a kid, and like I would walk into like a bodega, and I'd be like, this music, just like I don't understand how people could like listen to this music all day.
Yeah.
Right. Fast forward years later, I have two nephews and a niece that's both half Dominican.
Yeah.
And the family parties is pretty much, have half Jamaican music, half Dominican music, and I enjoy Spanish music now.
Yeah.
And I have friends. Before I would look at baklava or something like that, and I'd be like, oh my god, like I don't know if I would necessarily want to try that. And then once you try it and you're engulfed in the culture, it's different. So everybody just comes from a point of ignorance. It's like you don't physically understand what the culture is because you've never been a part of it.
Yeah.
So it's easier not to understand that way. You feel me? So if people try to like just gauge their lives off of like basing it of like, I'm just trying to gain understanding and like how this operates. Like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Yeah. And it just it would make more sense to put yourself in that person's shoes before you try to judge them, because you don't understand what their culture requires of them. You don't understand that in a lot of Asian communities, when people talk about how, you know, the kids are and all this other stuff, like there's stress and anxiety that runs rampant in those communities, because especially those kids being first generation here, their parents put so much pressure on them. That's why I've been in school with kids, and it's like I see them get a B+ and they like start crying, and I'm like, bro, I got a B-. I'm happy as hell. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But it's just it's a different culture. It's different things, and the understanding is different once you get to know the person and where they come from.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, a lot of those things that they're trying to pass. I guess you have to see what it is doing for their agenda. You feel me? Like you said, some of them sound like people are trying to get something done, and some of them sounds like they're trying to protect people. So you just have to manage your intentions there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the whole. I wish things weren't so political. I think if you could take away like the two like politicalness, and people could just like sit and think about it, you could actually see like, what are we trying to get accomplished? What are we trying to do? Okay, I know you want this, but we want this. How can we somehow meet in the middle? Mm-hmm. Like, instead of it being Democrat versus Republican, which that grouping works both ways. Like, It doesn't just work with black, white. It also works the same way, like Republican, Democrat. So if you could just, like, not group yourself and instead just be like, okay, I want this, you want this. How do we work together? Instead of, like, oh, no, they're talking bad about Democrats. Forget them. They start screaming and get all emotional. It's like, yo, just...
It's like one will never hear the other person's side.
Nah,
so it's just like,
it's impossible, bro.
Oh, it's so
honestly,
bad.
I personally detach from people who's heavily on one of either side.
Yeah.
Because even if I'm on one side, if you're all about my side, I still think that's a negative thing because you're blindsided. Because I don't fully agree with my side, and I don't fully agree with the other side. Like, I see things that are wrong, and both sides should be improved. Like, if everybody has that type of mentality, like, it'd be easier to work towards different type of solutions, but a lot of people are like, you're over here, I'm over here. This was done, so we need to retaliate. And
bro,
it's too much.
Mark my words, bro. That two-party system dynamic is gonna be part of the reason like America fails. I think that's gonna be part of the reason that drives America apart. That whole Democrat versus Republican
Drives it apart. I mean,
We do.
Now it's gonna get worse. I think like. You ever seen Ray Dalio's Rise and Falls of Nations? Mm-hmm. Part of it is like political.
Yeah,
like
political
separation.
drive.
Yeah,
For sure.
so
That shit nuts. So boom, moving on, right? So not to get back into Marvel, right? After that deep ass conversation, but I was watching Moon Knight, and
what's that one about?
it's
Don't spoil.
no. I'm not. It's
No
not about the
spoilers for
show.
this one?
Nah.
The main character. It's the main character. You've seen Split before, right? It's really good. You seen Split? All of you have seen
That's a
Split.
great movie.
Yeah, the movie I've seen.
Barry.
So, are you familiar with dissociative identity disorder?
When you have like 10 different personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the show, the dude's a superhero, but he suffers from that. So he's his regular self. The superhero is another part of him, right? So
And they're not aware of each other.
I ain't gonna. That's as far as I'm
That's
speaking,
too much
sir.
of the show. Okay.
That's
okay.
it.
So
So
if you're interested, watch it, buddy.
Nah, it's a good watch. It's a good watch.
Chris did break it down.
You
see
just
if
say
it's worth it.
ruin it for everybody always.
Nah, but it so in like the first episode, right? He's like living his life, and like it's Thursday night. He wakes up, right? Next day Sunday, and then he experiences it more than once. So, within obviously that disease, like it's a different person within him experiencing his weekends. So I like asked the question, right? I was like, that's interesting. If every week, right, you got to live Monday through Friday, and then a different identity took over the weekend, and you woke up again, and it was time to get ready for work on Monday.
There's a show like that.
What?
There's a show like that coming out on. All right, so and not to cut you off. All right, so you have the option at this place to choose whether you can your work life and your personal life are completely separated.
Oh, with
So between it's like it's on Amazon. or something
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
So
yeah.
between
It's
say
in-
between 8 and 5, that's one life that you always live. Like you're still the one person, but the moment like 5:01 happens, your memory switches off to your personal life. Everything that happened at work, you won't ever remember, ever. You'll go home and you'll live your personal life, and you have your family, you have everything, and now you live your personal life. And then when it cuts over to like 8 o'clock, you switch into like your phone having a business and personal mode. So, but not everybody has to do that. It's like I haven't watched it. I just seen the trailer, but
sounds
I was
like
like, that looks crazy.
that sounds
And
like
I
hell.
sat there and thought about that. I said, I don't know. I love being able to switch off from work, but I don't know if I would like
That
not
sounds
want to
like-
be able to think about my family.
That sounds like hell.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
That
So
sounds like hell.
that goes into the question I was gonna ask. So if that happened to you every week,
Yeah.
and Christian Lopez or Almar
Yeah.
or Imani, you only got to experience your week. Like you never knew what the weekend was like because you know you're gonna wake up just Monday
Terrible.
morning after Friday.
It would be terrible.
What would you do differently during your week, knowing that you don't have a weekend?
Like I would just go to bed on Friday, wake up on Monday.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So what are you gonna do? Change like? Would you make like Monday, Tuesday?
I'm
your
gonna find a
weekend
job
days
that I only
and-
work Monday through Wednesday. 'Cause I need me a Thursday and a Friday because I'm gonna be waking up and I'm gonna wake up, go to work, and end my week and wake up and just go back to work. If you're working on Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
That would disturb me.
like that, yeah, that would be sick.
No,
Like,
just to
all
lose,
right,
just to lose 2 days of my week sounds insane.
Nuts, bro. But I
imagine
was like,
you
I would get up
leaving the
Monday.
office.
Monday, I would be like,
What the hell happened?
Monday would probably definitely be my worst day of
I'd
the
probably
week.
set up cameras in my house. I would get real crazy about it.
Word.
You're only getting Monday, Tuesday out of me.
Chris-
Wednesday,
Chris
Thursday,
2 days the
that's my
office spent
weekend.
watching his footage, trying to figure out what the fuck
What
happened.
the
last
hell
2
has been
days.
going on these 2 days?
That's what you have to do in the show. You got freaking mad shit.
Wow.
Tape on his door to make sure you don't leave.
That seems like the next logical step. If you just keep waking up 2 days later, like I gotta record what's going on. I gotta figure this out.
I ain't
I
gonna
probably
hold you. I
wouldn't-
might
That
fuck around
level
and
of
just chain
anxiety and
myself to the
paranoia
bed
is
and
crazy.
just.
I probably wouldn't have a job.
Yeah. And then the next question I have for you fellas is there's a viral question going around right now.
Demon.
Don't feel bad. I know you got kids. But you can answer this
Demon.
question.
Fuck these kids.
How many 5-year-olds do you think you beat up at once?
How many 5? I'm not gonna hold you. I will.
no.
Dog.
How many 5-year-olds?
Yeah. Like how many 5-year-olds would it take to defeat you?
That video is
A lot.
hilarious, by the way.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
There's mad different responses, bro.
lot.
One response is
All
hilarious.
right, so all right, what kind of 5-year-olds we talking about?
just
Just
normal,
regular.
just your
And I get to
Like
go all
like
out.
rough kids that be play fighting, or like
No.
the 5-year-olds that like
Oh,
cry
five-
about it.
miscellaneous group of just 5.
I don't know. Like
50
if
to
I got
100
5 of my
easy.
nephews,
My man
50
said
to 100
He's taking one
easy.
5-year-old by the ankles and just keep swinging in circles.
that's what I'm clucking them out by the ankles. I'm holding them by both ankles.
Honestly,
Headband.
I don't know. I don't think until I get tired. That's our only hope.
Nah,
I ain't gonna front.
we don't hit children out here, so
I would never.
No.
We're talking about
I love kids.
in fantasy
I'm
land,
just-
like
yeah.
our imaginations.
I'm
But
beating the shit out those
in the
kids. that try to
metaverse.
jump.
Yeah.
in.
can't cancel us
a
for
5-year-old don't got much for me, bro. I ain't gonna front, so I'm gonna go through them.
I don't know.
I'm
I've been
just
training,
throwing
bro.
uppies all day.
I've been
Well,
training.
I'm
I've been
on
waiting
it.
for this moment.
At this current moment,
I mean, at this current moment, I got a crutch.
6 5-year-olds is taking you out, cuz I ain't
do,
gonna
I
hold
do.
you.
Honestly, because
I
I
know.
give them.
Nice
I give
baseball
you
swing.
2 5-year-olds. Because you know what a 5-year-old doing? They're gonna find that foot and they're just gonna kick it.
Yeah.
Yo, oh
That's what
my
they're gonna do.
god.
That's what a 5-year-old do.
If they tee off on your foot, oh, it's
he has
over.
to kill him.
But who said in my current condition?
True.
Right.
The 5-year-olds are attacking today.
You would have
You're
to
done.
kill him. You would have to kill those 5-year-olds. They step on your Achilles. You have to kill them.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna go on camera and say something like that.
No,
but,
I'm just saying. What if an alien came to Earth and just had this like machine that made all 5-year-olds
Why,
evil?
why is that not a movie yet? Like a zombie apocalypse, but it's only like
Kids.
ages 5 through infant.
Imagine.
And the
Because-
adults and everyone else.
Because everybody would have, in this super sensitive world, everybody would have an issue with
We're
just
making that
destroying
movie,
kids.
First off,
First off, I'm not gonna
Let
lie.
some
I've
4-year-old-
seeing a baby
Dogging
killed
up in-
on TV is crazy.
What'd
There
you
was seeing a baby killed on like in movie is crazy. There's a movie called with what's the old girl from Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence. She did some type of movie where I think it was called like Mother or something. It was the most mind raping movie I've ever watched in my life. Like I think the whole group of us when we finished watching the movie, like just looked at each other and just squinted. Was like, what the.
Nah, Midsummer.
Watch
Watch that. Watch Mother. But pretty much like she had a baby at one point, and like these people like flocked to the house, and the guy was like some whatever. I don't even know how to explain it, but there was a million people just in this random house. It was like demonic and creepy.
Oh, she was giving birth to the devil or some shit like that.
It was like a regular baby, and all you know is like her baby like started getting crowd surfed over people. Like the shit just
Like,
came
wait,
out
you
the
ain't even cut
womb,
the
bro.
umbilical cord yet. You take it
Not
with
even
it.
out there, and the
Right.
shit started getting crowd surfed, and like somebody like yeet and snapped that shit back, bro. In the middle of it, I was like,
They killed the baby?
bro, crazy, crazy.
Yo, that's not funny.
In the middle of
but
the movie,
son,
they just killed.
Chris started laughing.
They just snapped the baby's head.
And just kept sending them off on the crowd
that's
serve.
nuts.
I was like,
Was she crying?
bro, that movie was a weird movie.
We gotta load them
And
up
then
after
I
that.
think everybody,
Okay.
You gotta
everybody
load
went
them
back.
Next topic.
Everybody
Somebody
went back
gotta
to
get
like
handled.
read it. Everybody,
Next
I
topic.
was like, yeah, that's a
They
bad
crowd
movie.
surfed the baby.
And you hear they
You better
snapped this baby's neck?
That shit was
That's
Bro,
shit was
crazy.
crazy, bro.
I'm fucking weak, bro.
See movies like
Oh,
that,
man.
I can't watch that.
As
Once
I
that-
said,
once that
so I
happened,
understand
I'm
why
like,
they
I'm
haven't
outta
made a zombie apocalypse baby movie.
Yeah.
Nah, because I couldn't imagine trying to clip Cheyenne if she turned to a vampire or something. If she turned to like a vampire or like a zombie, what would I do if my goddaughter tried to eat my face?
Just put her in like a little dog cage.
I'm gonna have to get her in a
Yeah, I'm
headlock.
gonna just put her in a safe room.
I
man.
actually started a new series, which is like kind of like a vampire zombie apocalypse type of things. It's not new, like The Strain on Hulu.
I heard that was good.
It's
Is
a,
that
it's
true?
an
That's
FX film. Whatever.
Tough. It's
Was
a,
that
it's a
you that
TV
just told me
series.
that
It has
was
like
good?
40.
Nah, it was him.
I was telling you,
Oh.
tough.
Oh.
But yeah, it was one scene where like the dude, his daughter, I think she's like 5. She turned into a vampire or whatever, and he let her kill him. Out of what?
Go ahead and eat, baby. Yeah.
You bugging.
Oh, on some shit like that. That's what he.
Yeah. Like,
Nah, I thought she was like sleeping and she just like he got.
I would have looked at that baby like,
Nah, she was
I loved you,
alive.
but I can make another.
That's what we did.
Okay. Next topic.
All right. And that's appropriate.
On the zombie apocalypse thing, because I'm not really big into this, but I've always seen stuff. What would you? What would be your first reaction? What would you do if you just
The
found
first
out?
thing I turn on the news and there's a zombie apocalypse.
First things you're doing, like your first set course of actions. What do you-
Grabbing a machete.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do don't. Yeah, it's a thing in a Caribbean household. You're gonna have a machete.
I don't have a machete, but I have a couple large knives.
Here we got a spear and machetes.
I'm going
Spear,
to the.
nice.
I'm gonna try to get to the nearest gun store.
Okay.
Get some guns.
You have your license?
No, but it's apocalypse. They gotta.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, like you got your license?
They got-
It's our- excuse me, sir, license.
You just made me think maybe I
Kiss
should
my
have
ass.
one already.
I'm saying, even if it's an apocalypse, you go in a gun store. I'm not selling you nothing. Get out of here.
You don't have to.
I'm taking it.
Good night, nigga.
You taking it with what? Your hands? They have a gun.
Most people that
You ever
in a
play
gun
Grand Theft
store
Auto and rob
aren't
the gun
walking
store with a
armed
gun?
Yeah, they shoot you.
Nah, as soon as I pull that shit, listen.
You think the dude in Walmart is strapped behind the counter?
You know, no Walmarts around here have guns, right?
You know, this is a generalized question. If we're having this podcast in Florida, what's the question then?
But like, if he had to get up out of his crib today, he's beat.
No, there's a store right on over by.
First off, there's one answer to your question.
You wouldn't find a gun.
Semen.
You definitely not finding a gun.
All right, what else?
You have the gates locked.
Okay.
Listen, all you need is semen
Get away.
in a zombie apocalypse.
What?
All you need is semen.
What are you talking about?
And I'm
The
not
Navy?
I'm not talking about the excretions, you fucking disgusting people, all right? All you need to do is find people that can operate a boat. Y'all get y'all guns, y'all get your supply, y'all go out in the middle of the ocean, and then get on the radios and figure out where y'all could go.
You
But
ever
why-
been on a boat for more than 10 hours? That shit is nauseating.
And why? I wouldn't trust a bunch of people on a boat
Yeah, you guys
with
make
guns.
This sound, you guys make this sound so easy.
Right.
That, you not only got to worry about zombies, you got to worry about people now trying to like capitalize off this.
Yep.
With
They
guns.
Go out there, they're gonna take your supplies and drop it in the ocean.
Nah.
All right, Al, what you doing?
You don't know anybody with a boat. I don't.
Yeah, I do.
That's for human nature.
I'm
You
hopes
got
is hope.
kids.
I'm going.
Hey, you got kids. You got kids. What's your first reactions?
My
let's hear
first reaction, I'm gonna pack the kids up.
it. Uh-huh.
We gotta hit up Home Depot real quick. I'm buying as much nail guns as I can.
He's on
I don't
something.
think you understand an apocalypse. We went into a pandemic and people started taking sneakers and shit out of stores. It's a zombie apocalypse, bro. You're not going to buy anything from anywhere. You're taking what you want and you going.
Oh, so I'm
People
looting.
like, geez, my
I'm
car-
looting.
Oh shit!
I'm
my
looting.
Home
All
Depot
right, so
card's
I'm
not
still
working.
I'm
Like, what are you
still-
talking
I'm
about?
still going into Home Depot.
Okay,
I'm grabbing
okay.
as much nail guns as I can.
Call of Duty.
Yo, them shits work.
Most of them need to be plugged in.
If there's a
Nah,
zombie
they have
apocalypse,
battery operated joints. You're bugging.
If-
Though. Ryobis.
If there's,
all them joints.
if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to the deep south.
Why?
Have you ever seen Key and Peele?
No.
If they're racist alive, they're racist while they're zombies. It's a fucking skit on Key and Peele. Like, he's outside. He's like, oh, there's a zombie apocalypse. And like he's going by the zombies, and they're like, they're going away from him because he's black.
They try to roll up the window.
Yeah, he walked by the zombies in the car. He walked by, they locked their door. So yeah, like they're not gonna want to eat me.
Or they're gonna eat you first.
I'm gonna be invisible
Facts.
down there.
gonna
Beef
eat
jerky,
you
they coming
first.
straight for you,
Nah.
boy.
What's next though?
We're taking a break. Song of the week this week is by one of my boys. It's a mix. He's a DJ. My boy Import. Listen to the sounds. We'll be back after these short.
Here go all your problems again. 3, 2, 1, your pen. Uncle now he back in the pen. Auntie shut down again. Did she finally come to life? Ever wish you had another life? Ever wish you had another life? Ever wish you had another life? Don't you wish the night would go long? I've been feeling low for so long. I ain't had a high so long. I've been in the dark for so long. Night is always darkest for the dawn. Gotta make my mark for I'm gone. I don't wanna die alone. I don't wanna die alone. I get mad when she gone. Mad when she home. Sad when she gone. Mad when she home. Sad when she gone. Floating on a silver lining. Yeah, you know where to find me. Riding on a silver lining. And my God won't deny me. Tell the devil get behind me. All the stars are aligned. Lift me up every time. You know exactly where to find me. Did those ideas ever really come to life? Make it all come to life. Make it all come to life. Praying for a change in your life. Should've wrote 'em down and then, and maybe they'll come to life. And maybe they'll come to life. And maybe they'll come to life. You know where to find me. They cannot define me, so they crucify me. Awesome place when I leave. Come and purify me. Come and sanctify me. You the air that I breathe. The ultra light beam. All the gifted Northly. All she wants was Nikes. This is not about me. God is still alive. So I'm free. Floating on a silver lining. Floating on a silver lining. So I'm free. I'm free.
You want to talk about the Grammys, the validity of award shows?
Yeah. Got you. Just posted these.
I'm bad with that stuff.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I actually like the whole award show stuff now. I'm terrible with that now. Like I don't
Alright,
watch any
and-
of that.
Action.
It's I don't know, because I don't know. I feel like it's not as interesting as it used to be. One, because before, you know, we used to actually tune in to see who was performing. I remember like a few times in my life, like actually like tuning into like
Bro.
BET Awards,
Yeah, when we was
the
young,
Source
yeah.
Awards.
How many albums is the Grammys gonna get wrong?
What do you mean? Like
They haven't picked they don't like they miss more than they hit on actually picking
The correct albums to be
correct
selected.
albums to win.
yeah,
selections.
I would agree. I feel like most committees, I don't understand the criteria of what they're picking.
Shouldn't it be a voting process?
There is. So there's like a panel of people. Like we're gonna talk about it, but Will Smith, the Academy of Arts and Sciences, he was one of the people on the Academy that voted on movies.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he stepped down.
It's like a bunch of actors.
Yeah. It's
Grammys the same way though.
yeah. It's an electoral college of people.
So they're getting rappers to vote on the best rap album.
I don't
No,
artists, like producers.
Yeah, I don't think it's rap.
I feel like they're not getting hip hop artists because do you think the hip hop culture would have picked Tyler Creator as the best album?
No.
That was one of my favorite albums.
Really? I don't see it. Me
I
personally,
was gonna say outside of Cole, I think that was the best album this year.
I don't see it. I think Cole albums. I couldn't finish his album actually. Like
Cole?
Tyler's.
Nah.
Like I got like
Tyler's
halfway
album was
through and I
fire,
was
bro.
Call
like,
Me If You Get Lost is crazy.
Tyler's album was
like
fire, bro.
Dreamville's, Gangsta Girls is better than Tyler's in my opinion. Like
The D-Day?
yeah, I couldn't finish Tyler's album. I got like halfway through and I was like, all
I'm
right,
reversed on that. I only liked
I'm
like
done
3 or
with
4 songs.
I'm with him.
I can't finish
I
Tyler's album.
didn't finish the album.
Couldn't finish it.
I mean, it's
Some of his songs go
different
too left
musicality.
for me.
But he reminds me a lot of like a Donald Glover or Childish Gambino, where they go into like certain weird places, and like you have to really be into like I think a certain level of artistry to appreciate like that. And if you don't appreciate it, then it's not something that's for you.
It's not unappreciated from my end. It's just that sonically, I don't always want to hear that sometimes.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
So like, especially like for me, when I listen to an album, I'll play it one time through, and I'll have one perception of it, and I have to listen to it at least another 2 times for me to be like, all right, I like the album or I don't like the album. Because there's sometimes like I'll hear a song, and the next time I go back and listen to it, there's another element of the song that I didn't hear the first time I listened to it.
If you were to go back and listen to his album now, you could probably feel. Like those are one of the albums that you might be like, it was okay. And like I said that about mad albums. Like that album was okay, and then I'll go back and be like, yeah, that song was kind of fire.
Yeah, but the
that
more
song was kind of fire.
that's like the more you listen to something, though, the more you like it.
Yeah, repetition.
You know,
is
I'm-
help.
Oh, there's been a couple.
Yeah, some of
There's
them.
been a couple of people who I'm like,
Listen,
you
I'm
one play.
doubling down on like
One
Cardi.
play.
I doubled down on Cardi. Boy, ass.
Yeah.
Her first album actually. Like,
No, not Cardi B. She's nice.
Cardi B's nice.
Playboy
Playboy
Cardi.
Oh,
He
her
has.
last album was.
He's trash.
I don't know what he's attempting to do now with his career. It's very interesting.
But I don't know, bro. You know, I just don't. It didn't do it for me. You know, I think there's a couple albums that were better than Tyler's album
What would
last
you
year.
say?
J. Cole, I thought had a better album.
Great album.
Russ's album was tough.
I didn't hear Russ's album.
It was tough.
Yeah, Russ's album.
Who else dropped last year?
I'm bad with
Jack.
remembering what comes out.
I don't know. Jack. I
who?
really like
Harlow?
Jack Harlow's album.
That was the
Yeah,
same
his
year.
album was
Bro,
fire.
yes, I've listened to his album front to back. I don't even know how many times.
Yeah.
Trust me, we don't
I think
know
the
either.
first 6 songs on Donda is better than.
I really like Donda, and I like the Certified Lover Boy.
It's well, they definitely weren't gonna give it to Kanye because
Yeah, he
But
was.
see, it
wild.
shouldn't
whole
be.
shit that happened with
I
the
guess
Grammys.
I don't know.
See, all right,
That's
my
the
opinion,
political aspect of it.
I thought Donda was a way better album. So like, Kanye with all his antics and all his bullshit, I'm not for it, and I've kind of like separated. He's a person where I can separate the artist from the music, not like R. Kelly. You can't separate shit like that. Like Kanye, that's a whole different like realm of stuff. So I can still be like, all right, he's wilding, but then hear something and be like, I don't care what you said. This production is crazy. This beat is crazy, and there were so many people who didn't like. They were like, oh, he hasn't put out good music in the last like God knows. I'm like, he's put out some good like Life of Pablo. Like it's not the best albums he's ever made, but like there's songs on those albums that's great quality.
Did they hear Hurricane? I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
that song is out of this
like
world.
it's some crazy
Yeah.
production songs that he just. and I'm
But you
just
know,
like,
if
killed it.
you don't listen to some of these albums in good listening devices, like if you're playing it off of your phone, you're not
you're not really catching.
you're not getting everything. If you
See,
listen to some in like good speakers,
People don't
good
understand that.
headphones or something like that, the sound quality is significantly superior. It's like night and day.
I can walk on.
There's a lot of people who don't. I think if it's somebody I care about, I won't listen to the album until I'm in a space where I have like good headphones or
Yeah.
I'm in a car where I could like bump the music and like really hear it and like not be disturbed. 'Cause I wanna
Catch Me
actually-
on the Highway.
I think it needs to
Kurt.
start
Speaking-
making more because like the same way how you have anything that's up for like selection, I think you need to have like the rubric of the criteria so people understand it. Like the same way how people be like, oh, how's this person an all-star, not an all-star? Like what considers you to be all-star? What considers you to be an MVP? Like they kind of go over the criteria of it, but like for you to have these are the things that we're grading off of, and then take that in comparison to that because I don't think they do a good job with award shows in general of capturing what was the best movie that year, what was the best album that year. You feel me? Because a lot of the times, if you like, bro, why was it that it took so long for Leonardo to get an Oscar? Why was it so long that freaking Samuel Jackson and Will Smith just got their first Oscars this year? They have been in movies in certain years where that was probably the best movie that year. And I could say that probably definitively for all three of them. So it's not always a matter of like what's the best per se. It's whatever they're choosing it off of. And we don't know what that is. So it kind of always leaves it up to like, because even within, Tyler just won his second consecutive best rap album, right? This album was a rap album because it was Gangsta Grills. Mm-hmm. It was a DJ Drama produced album. But what was it called? Me If You Get Lost? What was the one before that? Igor was a pop album. He stated it was a pop album. So he was upset that he won the rap category. So if that album is for the majority of the things he's singing, the way he produced it, all of them have bridges. Most rap songs don't have bridges like that. So it's like he produced and recorded the album from a standpoint of trying to make it pop or like an R&B-ish album. He doesn't get recognition for that. They classify it as a rap album. Obviously, it can't be the best rap album if it wasn't even made to be a rap album. So the best rap album for that year got you feel me? Got fudged too. So I don't really understand how they choose these things and who's on the boards. Like you can search and figure out all the information out, but as a part of like representation of culture, who is there to say like, all right, to see what Donda did for the culture, to see what J. Cole's album did for the culture, to see what Young Thug's album did for the culture. Like I think it should be like impact. Right? Obviously, your numbers and shit like that. Some albums, like a DJ Khaled album, to me, should never win the best album because it's like a fucking all-star game for an album. He's just getting the best people in the game on songs.
They should have people vote for it.
You feel me? So it's like...
I thought about that.
It's 2022.
I don't know if that would work, though, because people are like...
NBA Youngboy would win that every...
So people would have the perspective of Santi's having, but the other half, people don't participate.
He has... The strongest fan base in hip hop is his.
Yeah, but if you have the world voting, it's like, because put it like this, he doesn't have the most album sales, for instance, which means his fan base is strong, maybe on like Twitter or something. But if you're like pouring something out for the world to vote on and say, guys, vote, what do you think is the best rap album? NBA wouldn't probably be in the top 5.
Yeah, but that's if the world voted, though.
Yeah,
you'd have to. You can't be like
because he's the same fans that can get his. He holds all the YouTube records for
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't put the vote on like a platform. Like you can't be like vote on Instagram because depending on the demographic that uses that social media, that's where it's
so how do you get them to vote then?
You'd have to figure out a mechanism, like have a Grammy app or something like that. You know what I mean?
But that's the problem. People won't go do that.
Facts.
Like I watch The Voice, right? Mm-hmm. I watch, and it's a voting thing. Every year there's always a country singer that wins. Damn near. Most of those singing shows. Because they have the largest supporting community. Like they will go out, and I won't even get into like the states or whatever, but like that community is really going to support
America.
that.
And when you have stuff like that, like if you have an app, right? How do you stop somebody from cheating?
Running bots.
Throw that social security number in there.
Then I'm
definitely not voting.
Definitely not getting.
You're not getting my vote.
What? That's a scam.
You want to vote?
Look on freaking
use that
online. Your
social
credit score
security.
gonna be a 12.
Our phone.
Get stopped by somebody.
Throw a phone number in there.
Right.
You need a unique identifier, a phone number, or something like that.
But that's easy. What you can have a texting app
numbers
and have
on a phone. You could have
hella different.
All right,
numbers.
nigga, I'm just saying.
But nah, it's just like there's different ways of how they could go about it. But I feel like that the voting, I would want a vote, but then I'm also like, how do you stop them from cheating while doing the voting?
Cheating already.
And you would want to vote, but how much do you care about these shows that you even know when the show is happening to know when the vote is happening?
I love music.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I wouldn't vote on like much else, but I actually really love music, and I would love to see like people who I feel like have the best albums actually get rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? We all know the Macklemore situation. How he still apologizes to everybody. But come on, like, why would you do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't know why he still does that either. It's like, bro, you won it. Everybody knows that there was an album out that was better than yours and that
2 albums
respected more than yours. So just take your award and just fucking... Like, at that point, like, we spoke about that before. It's like, basically what he's doing is technically being humble. It's like degrading his own self.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, nah, at
You
that
still want
point,
that,
like,
yeah.
yeah, you want it. Like, you put work into your thing just because the people are saying something else. Like, you should still respect your work for your work, you know? But as far as, like I said about these things, like these award shows and shit like that, the Grammys, their main thing is that they're out of touch. Because they did a ceremony, you know, a little, like, remembrance thing, whatever, for Virgil. And they labeled him as a hip hop fashion designer, which people were like outraged about it. And it's like, bro, the man is the head of Louis. Is Louis a hip hop like brand?
it's so funny.
But why even go so far as do hip? Just put designer.
Yeah, but what's crazy to me is like if these
high end
these
design
are
or
the
something.
if these people are the creators of culture, then how can they be so far out of touch?
Yeah, that's crazy. Because like with Tyler when he won the hip hop category or rap category for the last Grammy,
Yeah,
he said he was like hip hop has become like one of those words that's like urban.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's a context put on it without saying it.
It's just
like
black.
what you're saying. And the fact they did that is crazy. Like it's literally that. Like,
Black
they
designer.
predicted it.
Yeah, I think what were you just saying? You had just said something. I meant to comment on it.
Oh, if they're the creators of culture, then how they so far out of touch?
I think the people who we think are the creators of culture are just recipients of like the funds of the culture. But I think the culture is just something like inorganic in its own. Like people are like, oh, I'm doing it for the culture. For like that's bullshit. But like I think the rap and hip hop culture itself is its own thing. Like there's no way to really define what it is. It's gonna be what it is. It's like its own entity.
Like, for instance, like if you got Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, Jay-Z, and put all the rappers, all the top rappers, or top producers in a room and say, guys, let's vote on the best album.
But see, those are the top people based on your standards.
No, but I'm saying get them all. Like even if the people I didn't name, people you would put, like you'd put Tyler in that, like whoever
Lil
you would put
Uzi.
in it, Lil Uzi.
Yeah.
You'd put all of them in a room together, Young Thug, all of them, and say, guys, let me get 200 of the top rappers and producers in the game and say vote on the best album. They're not coming out. Did they come out with Tyler's best album?
Most artists are narcissistic people. So,
but even no, because when you asked Drake in an interview, he said, "What do you think was the best album that came out in the past couple years?" He said, "So Much Fun."
yeah, but if Drake has an album out that year and he's voting and his album was #1, and Young Thug also has an album out that year and his album's #1, and J. Cole has an album out that year and his album's #1, not to be like.
So maybe it would have to be specifically top artists that didn't release
But you
music
feel
that
like
year.
because you know the NFL, you see how the
Something like
NFL
that.
does it. Like the NFL does it right. They get
The
the
player
players
votes.
to vote for the top 100, and the
Yeah.
players they don't go the narcissistic route of I'm the best player. Even if they feel that way, they don't put themselves. They'll put like Tom Brady was the best player this year.
Yeah.
They don't go narcissistic that way. So maybe you would expect the same from
But
the
I think
from the
sport
artist.
production and music is too is far from interpretation. Because like sport production is like it's either you do or you don't. You produce or you don't.
Yeah.
And music is one of those things. It's like it's hard to say what is a success.
Yeah.
Because your music could be phenomenal, but you don't sell that much, and you could have
Yeah.
way better music. And so
Yeah.
like, it's hard to argue and be like, I got 10 million streams versus your 100, but your album is way better than mine. So like it's I
Facts.
get what you're saying. It's,
Yeah.
just, it's harder to gauge though.
Because there was one of these years that I feel like YBN Cordae should have got album of the year. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
album with Lil Wayne, he got Sinister on it.
Yeah, like
That
that.
album was fire.
Fucking. When I tell you, he said in an interview, Jay-Z, I think he was like Rick Ross, like a couple other people, like they all told him like that was like the best body work like they heard in a minute.
See,
And for
but
him to keep doing what he's
he
doing.
needs a Grammy. Like I was saying, I feel like you put them in the room, all those guys, they would have gave him a Grammy.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Am I like?
Yeah, no, I agree
Yeah.
with you though. I agree with you, but I just want to take the perspective.
No, you're
like,
right, though, yeah.
you have to like that's why it's so hard and it's complex to just be like, oh, we could just grab these guys because like I would want to have the top guys in the room making those decisions, but if the top guys like Jay-Z is not releasing music right now, but we know he's a top person.
Yeah.
Kanye doesn't actively release music on a basis like that, but we know he's a top person.
Yeah, you love Kanye, but he can't be in the room.
But like, there's certain people where you know, like, there's like Drake is still
Why are
releasing
we even
music.
talking
like, Drake
about
is
this?
still
It's
at
me.
the prime of his game. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to put Drake in the room to vote
Okay,
on.
maybe make a rule: if you drop the album this year, you can't vote.
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
possible. So
Look at that. We coming up with solutions for you, Grammy. We want 5%.
Oh, and a question I had off of this, right, was as an artist, right, whether it be music, or like fashion or whatever the case may be. If you don't, get in like New York Fashion Week, or if you an actor, obviously for the Oscars and shit like that. What validity, like if you hold your artistry to a certain regard, right?
Yeah.
And everyone in the street is saying, you had the best and whatever, just like people might have told J. Cole, like, yo, you definitely had the best album this year, don't worry about it, whatever the case may be. What validity do like these award shows hold in regard to like your body of work? Like if you know like you had the best quality, because Roddy Ricch talked about that before, like he had the best album that year, he was
did.
like a rookie, that's
He
why
did.
they feel like they didn't give it to him and like shit like that. And it kind of, in his next album, I feel like it kind of like threw off his work, because he was saying how like he didn't care about it that much, but his next album sounded like way more like a mainstream studio album than his first did, and it feels like he did certain reaches and certain grabs.
Try
Like
to get that
Cole,
goal.
if he's saying he's not doing a feature, him having one feature on the next shit is not like him stepping super far away from what he was already doing. You feel me? But that sounded like really far away from what he was doing from the first one, because even Chris would have got freaking half those songs tattooed on his body, but that second Roddy Ricch one, I'm pretty sure you and Keith was the first people that like that. It wasn't as,
Yeah, it was like a couple. I like it, but it's not like it wasn't as good as the first one,
You feel
or
me?
even some of his mixtapes.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 songs and I still go back and listen to.
But I feel like that whole Grammy thing fucked with his process of his artistry.
Yeah.
So as an artist, how do you guys feel like you should deal with, like these major things? Like if I don't have a Grammy, or if I don't have this, or I don't have this, but I'm still a big artist and I haven't won that yet. It's the same way as like being in like the league and you being a good player, but it's like, oh, you ain't win a ring yet. Like what validity does this hold to like your regard?
I think to Al&Mani's point, like sports is more like even life. Sports is even, I guess not life, but sports is very like, okay, you did it, you didn't. Performance, like I threw for 5 touchdowns and won, or I threw for 5 picks and lost. Music, it's so subjective, and you're like, yo, you got people voting who are so detached that just part of that industry, you have to tell yourself it doesn't. Like, like J. Cole doesn't have a Grammy. No one's ever gonna. J. Cole's in everybody's top 10.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a Grammy for best album ever, but still he's in people's top 10 because everyone knows the Grammys are full of shit now. They don't mean much. You know what I mean? So I don't think if you're in that industry, you have to understand that.
Yeah.
But
it's just one question. But like, is it? All right, so boom. Let's say you put out that album this year, right? And everybody regards it as the best album. You don't win the Grammy.
Yeah.
And then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you continue to not win, right? At what point I was like, what am I aiming for? Like, how do I pick a new benchmark for myself? Like, how do I know I've reached a new level?
listen to. Did you see J. Cole's documentary?
Which one? The Dreamville one from last year?
Before he dropped Off Season.
Yeah.
He had the same exact problem. That's
Yeah.
why he was like he had writer's block for a while, and a lot of the music he was making wasn't like that good compared to what he usually does. He said he just got over it eventually. Like you realize that do it for the fun of like becoming the best at it that you can become.
Yeah.
Don't really do it for the fact that I'm trying to win this award, because especially when you could make the best album ever, and it's really not up to you. It's like unlike sports where it's like if I run for 2,000 yards, it's like I did that. But you can make the best album, everyone thinks it's the best, and the committee could feel like
Subjective.
yeah, it's too subjective. Committee be like, well, this person mentioned this, and it's a big movement. He rapped really great about Black Lives Matter, and he deserves it. They do stuff like that.
Well, maybe they got to take the power out of like some of these awards that they're giving out, like the Oscars and the Grammys and stuff like that. Because if the best people, Will Smith and Denzel and people like that, they're not winning the Oscars, and these artists who are the top in the game aren't winning the Grammys, and that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be that much validity towards it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I guess you don't want to take away from the people who do win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to take away from the people who do win, but I feel like if you're a person who is out there struggling in that, and I feel like this goes to anything, if you have like one ultimate goal and it's not necessarily superficial, but it's superficial. Like my goal is to win a Grammy one day. Like that should be the end result, but that shouldn't be your goal. Like the way you get to a Grammy is being the best artist you could be. The way you get to a Grammy is having a solid fan base. The way you get to a Grammy. So like, there's people who are artists out there who don't go on radio, but they sell out all of their shows. Like those are the people who have kind of gotten to that understanding.
Wale.
Like I can be like I can be successful and I can tour all over and people can love me and like that's where my affirmation and my like my reassurance from that I'm doing something positive comes from rather than a Grammy because like even at the end of the day it's like it's nice when you do win it, but I feel like most of those people after not winning it all that time and you won it, when you finally win it, it probably won't mean anything to you.
Did you listen to the new Dreamville album?
When did it come out?
D-Day?
D-Day, like a week and
a
a half
lot
ago.
a lot of their artists were talking about that, right? Because they're not the most famous artists in the world. They're all pretty much saying like, but I can feed my family. Like, like I use rap to feed my family. I take care of my life. Like, you know, I'm still building wealth for my family, but I'm not famous. I don't got a Grammy. But like, why? Kyle said it. He was like, "Well, why should that matter if I can feed my family?" Like,
because there's people without Grammys and stuff, and then they'll have people. They'll have like I've seen like documentaries of artists who aren't crazy big. But they have like cult like followings.
Yeah,
and
like
there's people that come up to them and they're like, "Bro, you saved my life. Like, I have your whole thing tattooed down my arm. Like, you did this for me, you did that for me." So I feel like once you start understanding, like, all right, Grammy is a picture or this statue of a status is something that I want to achieve. But like ultimately, like this is something bigger than that. I'm accomplishing more than that, and you can get some more fulfillment within yourself. And
I was gonna. That's what I was gonna say. Like fulfillment. A lot of people, they feel like once they get to a certain pinnacle of success, that's the only thing left for them to like achieve. So if they don't achieve that, they don't feel like they're doing well. It's like if you're an artist, right? You like me, for instance, right? I make clothes. If my clothes never touch a New York fashion runway, that's not going to be like, oh, damn, I never got that, so I was never successful. Because that's just a title that you can put on your thing. Like, it's like for a book, a good book, just because it's not a New York Times. But how many New York Times bestsellers have you read and the book was like actually not that good?
I've read a couple,
So it's like, that's a list that is going to get, like, maybe that list is generated off of numbers. Maybe there's a book that's floating around that's like a Rich Dad Poor. How long did it take for fucking Rich Dad Poor Dad to get some type of prize or something like that? When my dad first gave the book to my oldest brother, I was like, what, like 11 or some shit like that? It was just some book that people just knew about. And then it a couple years later, it reached like that New York Times bestseller list and shit like that.
Great
so
title.
It's like a bunch of things aren't going to be like validated by things like that. So you have to pay attention to like your ripple effect of your product of what you're doing. So if me as a brand, I can pull up, I can do a pop-up shop, I can sell it out, it'll be around the block. Like before any of these brands ever collab with Supreme knew they were the best brand because what they're able to do. I can take a brand and I can stamp the shit on a brick and sell it for $100. And tomorrow, if I look online, people are gonna be selling that brick for $10,000 and people be fucking buying it. I can put my shit on a crowbar, I can put it on a wrench, I can put it on a sneaker, I can put it on whatever. Like that's real power. They don't ever need to win anything. They don't ever need to be at a New York Fashion Week or anything like that. Like no matter what you're doing, like if what you're able to do, it can like stay afloat on its own without any help of these things. That's why, you know, you're under that shirt you got on a Huncho shirt. He's one of the biggest Migos advocates. But that whole no label shit, like when they first started, bro, like that was like a big thing because at that time that was a part where everybody would just like sign to a label, and if you weren't good, you would get shelved. You feel me? Or like you'd have to work yourself out this deal and be in a badass deal and tell your fans, well, I can't drop music because they not letting me or whatever the case. So they were a group that, you know, made the shit pop on their own, and they didn't need a company to come and sign them to say that they made it themselves.
No label.
So I think as an artist, you just have to keep those things in mind and like you said, like notice what you're working towards. Like if you have a superficial goal, you're not gonna get what you need out of it because you're not putting in the work to get to that stature. You're just doing things just to do it. Like there's people that, you know, might pick up a camera, like you for instance. For those of you that don't know, my brother, he is a photographer and he has a flourishing business. We will tag it. But there's people that have photography businesses that they might get a lot of bookings or a lot of shows and shit like that to come through and shoot, and they cameras quality be trash. And it's like if you don't have the eye for it, if you don't have the work ethic to be better at what you're doing, eventually all that superficial shit is gonna fade out because your retention isn't gonna be good. People are gonna want you back. People are gonna get their stuff and not gonna be happy with it. Like it's all about product and service. So if your service and your product is on point, then obviously those things are just gonna work out themselves. So you won't have to worry about, making it onto this or doing that. Because I've seen plenty of people that do shit for a little bit and they make it to some. Oh, I was on this show, bro, and then now for the next 20 years, that's all you could talk about, the fact that you made it to whatever that was, instead of the fact that 20 years later, what you put your work into still is existing in that moment and still impacting people. Like, that's the important shit.
Yeah. I estoy de acuerdo contigo.
Anybody want to translate that?
I was about to say, was that in English or no?
I said I agree with you.
We got anything else to touch?
No, I think on that, I feel like the most important factor, and it's not even just artists, it's just as a person, is understanding like what goals you have and like how to obtain the goals that you're setting for yourself. Like, so like I feel like people can set goals but don't know how to set goals for setting goals, if that makes any sense. So like, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to be a pro athlete, or I want to be a broadcaster, I want to be a lawyer. Like, okay, that's what you want to do, that's what you want to be, but what are the goals that you have to achieve to get there? Okay, I have to maintain a 3.0 GPA. I have to be able to handle a 12-hour shift to be a doctor. I have to be able to stand on my feet for long times. I have to be able to figure out how to connect this. Like, people don't understand, like, those are the small goals that you have to set just for yourself to understand that, to get to that big goal. Like, and that's why I say for artists, like, or a photographer or a musician or whatever you're doing, like, set yourself the small goals, understand the bigger goal. And if you can achieve all your small goals and that big goal hasn't happened, I'm pretty sure when you look back after achieving all those small goals, you're going to have something else that's going to be like more valuable than whatever that original goal was for you.
Yeah. I was listening to a lecture a couple days ago, and they said clinically what happiness is in the brain.
Wow.
It's the progressive realization of a goal. So like, the brain sees happiness as the closer you get to an endpoint, you get this feeling of happiness. So if you want to be a millionaire, right, and every year you see yourself getting 10% closer, you're just getting closer and closer, you'll be happy that you're getting closer. And that's how you. If people who say their goal is to be happy, like, I want to be happy one day. If you want to be happy, what you would do is think about where you want to be in life, set goals for yourself,
Keep progressing,
and just track it. As you're going through life, just track how much closer you're getting to that goal, and you'll release the feeling of happiness in your body.
Yeah. I like that. I think I don't know if we had this conversation on mic before, but I'm pretty sure it was a conversation I had with you. We were talking about like people's mindsets and stuff. And Chris was saying that basically people, like, they look at a goal and they think of how to obtain a goal instead of looking at a goal. Look at the people that have achieved that goal, like what type of characteristics and mindset that they have, and adapt yourself to that. And instead, that's going to attract that. So if I know a person that's making this amount of money, like, what they have to do, like, they have to get up this time, they have to sacrifice this, they read this many books, they do this many things, and you start aligning yourself with those habits is now going to manifest that goal, because you'll be on the track. Because if I know that, these people, they go out and they go to networking events, and I'm out at a networking event, that's an opportunity to make. Yeah. But if I'm in my house just researching shit, saying I want to become, a owner of a Fortune 500 company, I can't get that because I can't go meet the people that's going to help me actually help me achieve that goal. Yeah,
it's like I know some people, I think it's like just a practical way of saying, like, law of attraction. I know a lot of people look at it like a buzz phrase, and I think it's just a practical sense of it. You'll attract what you want in life if you become what you need to become to get it. You know what I mean? So like, if you want to become a designer, right, and all the designers hang out in this one area, and you go put yourself in a position to be around them, to do things that they're doing, eventually you'll attract those things to you because you're putting yourself in the right place, right time, and these things become to you. You know what I mean? If you want to be an athlete, right, you want to go play college football, but not a single coach has a single one of your tapes or a single one of your film. I've never seen any of your highlight tapes. Then you could sit and say you want to do it all day, but the moment it's out there in the world, these things will become attracted to you. And I feel like people don't do that half of it. It's more so just kind of like sitting down and wishing for things to happen instead of, putting yourself in the right positions, having the right habits, being around the right people who then attract what you want in life to you.
Somebody said, I've never heard anybody say this, and I'm probably going to mess it up, but I'll try to remember it as best as possible. I was watching something, and somebody was like, I really hate the phrase, and people say, like, And it was a positive phrase too. People say like, "Oh, like life is short. You gotta like."
Oh yeah, I hate that too.
Oh, like go ahead, like go, like you gotta go do it. Life is short. Life is short. And the guy was like, I feel like that's a phrase that people say in a positive way, like don't stress about that. Like life is short. Go out. You get another job. Life is short. Go out and you go do this that.
Yeah.
But he was like, honestly, when you say that out, he's like, I think that's a negative phrase because you're putting out negative energy that life is going to be short.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'd rather say life is long. And he said, I'll say life is long, and this way I have the opportunities to create and to continue to do things and have more positive opportunities. So if I say life is short, I don't have that opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm only take advantage of now. So I was like, I never thought about that like
It's
that.
funny. I was listening today, actually, before you guys got here. I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he was talking about people who do that. They'll like say, this one like, why would I eat healthy? Life is short. He goes, anyone who does that, it's just like it's basically in their brain, their belief system. They have the wrong time frame attached to the goal. Like if someone was to be like, oh, my baby's crying, it's hungry, and someone's like, don't worry about it, don't feed that baby. You could die any day. You look at that person like,
That's nuts.
You're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But if you take that same thing and you're like, I want to eat healthy, and someone's like, don't worry about it, you could die any day. It's the same exact thing that they're saying. They're putting the wrong time frame on it. Like dying any day is like, okay, the world's gonna end. Okay, but what does that do right? What does that do right now with me taking care of myself for the next 10 years?
Right.
Or what does that do with feeding my baby for the next 2 years? There's nothing to do with that. So why would you apply that logic of that time frame to this situation? That's what people do, and then you end up being that person. You live to your 80 and you ain't do nothing you could have did right, or if you didn't eat healthy when you were 20 and 30, and then now you're 60 and you're like, I wish I would have. And it's like you could have made that decision when you were 20, 30. Why wait till you're 60 now when it's a crisis when you could have prevented it all those years ago?
People say I'm here for a good time and not a long time, but I'm here for a long good time.
Yeah, I mean, but even to that logic, bro, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. If you're not here for a long time, only here for a good time, wouldn't you do the best you can to make sure like it's the best that it could be?
Yeah.
If you're only here for a short period of time, then why not?
But I think that's perspective based.
Yeah.
What's your perspective of best? Because
Like I want
this person's perspective of best is eating a burger and not going to the gym to work out.
Yeah.
And somebody else's perspective of best might be I'm in my best shape and I can physically go to the gym. And
for me, it's like simple human things. Like, I don't want to be tired all the time. I'm like people who are tired all day and have to drink, like I don't know, have to take stuff to have energy. It's like
I gotta have a coffee. I gotta have my Red Bull.
It's like,
I
do you
hate having
like? Don't you want to feel good? Don't you want to have energy?
Before I get my coffee.
Don't you want to have a healthy digestive system? You don't want to be bloated and constipated all the time.
Yeah.
When you do use the bathroom, it runs. It's like, don't you want to just a normal, healthy human existence? Like,
And I just want to go on the record and say that the number one drug in America is caffeine, in my opinion. Because all them people out there that are heavy coffee drinkers, I'm a tea guy myself, so I don't do that. But y'all addicts, crackheads. All of y'all.
I mean, and it's crazy because I
Because
like.
for people who it makes no sense that there's certain people you can't have a conversation with them before they have a drink.
Or
Or
I
something
get a
like that.
headache if I don't
And
drink my coffee.
and that's
Like,
not
what?
even like a joke of a thing. I literally worked with a person. He was like two entirely different people pre and post coffee.
That's nuts.
And I'm just like, this is it's psycho. Like people get jittery and wiry, and I'm just like, I mean, if you have to have 3-4 cups a day just to survive, like
I wake up. I just
Everybody
cold
had
water.
a fix. So I know
Headaches.
some people that they're like that before they need a cigarette. Some people need to smoke weed before they.
but that's a bad. I mean, you shouldn't have to have anything to do anything.
Your body shouldn't, besides food, obviously, but your body shouldn't be dependent on any one thing for it to function properly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you can have a preference. Like it's okay if you want to have a cup of coffee. That's cool.
Yeah.
But for you to be like, don't talk to me. I need a cigarette. I need it. Even if you smoke weed, cigarettes, you have a drink. There should be none of those purposes when you're out of your own body or person. You can't be who you are until you've had that thing. That's a negative thing.
Honestly, just don't talk to me till 11. And that's not because I don't need anything. I just don't. I'm not a morning person.
That's a big difference.
But yeah, I think we good to wrap.
Yes, sir.
This has been another episode of the DemiGod Chronicles. We appreciate you for tuning in. Whether you stopped listening after 15 seconds, whether you made it to this point, we appreciate you for even giving us a chance. Follow everybody on their social medias at cb.lopez, at Almar Dyer, We'll put it underneath. And at Putting Up Points podcast, follow Al&Mani.
I don't shout out my social media. I don't really do that.
He got an Instagram, but he barely uses that shit.
At Instagram, Al&Mani.
Follow Jace at JSquay. Follow us at the DGC on Twitter, at the DemiGod Chronicles _ on Instagram, and on YouTube, mastered MSTRD _ studios. And you can follow me at _ demigod _ and MSTRD _ studios spelled with a V on Instagram. Yeah.
I hope y'all got some like.
Word. Yeah. Santi just hit him with the end of the commercial that they hit you with all the
Bro, I
side
told you,
effects.
This nigga be practicing.
He swears, bro.
He be in the mirror practicing shit, getting his voice right.
It's really not that hard, man. You just gotta remember a couple ad names. But yeah, thank you for rocking with us. We, like I said, we looking to get back to more regular scheduled things, getting some more content out to you guys on our pages. And till then, we bid you guys adieu. Chris, hit the people. What's the Spanish?
Gracias para escuchando. Te aprecio.
Yeah, we out of here.
Vaya
Bow.
con Dios.
Gracias a Dios.
Mama huevo.